Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to a new video today on In the Stars. So today's video I'm going to be talking about Saturn in astrology. Alright, so what is Saturn in astrology? Saturn in astrology influences people's, or brings on the influence, shall I say, of restriction, limitations, discipline, responsibility, karma, depression, loneliness, time, fatherly figure influence. These are the things that are associated with Saturn. These are the influences that Saturn gives off. So you would know that if you've been following my Capricorn videos. If you didn't, you can go back and look at my Capricorn videos where I explain it in a little bit different ways of how it influences Capricorn necessarily. But this is how Saturn influences all of us, because we all have a Saturn placement in our chart. And where Saturn is placed in our chart, or what sign our Saturn is in, or what house our Saturn is in, these are the influences that it will give off to those different things. So, as I said, whatever sign your Saturn is in, this is the influence that it will give to those things. Whatever house your Saturn is in, this is the influence that it will give. For a person who has a good placement of Saturn, say their whatever sign that their Saturn is compatible with Saturn itself, or compatible with Saturn itself, or compatible with Capricorn, because Capricorn's ruling planet is Saturn. So if your sign is compatible with Capricorn, should I say, or with Saturn, which is pretty much saying the same thing, then this can show signs of a positive influence, or how Saturn's influence will give you positive benefits, whether instead of giving you negative influences, or its negative sides to it, should I say. Also, it would depend on how your Saturn is aspected. If your Saturn is aspected positively, this will also give you an indication of if Saturn will be favorable towards you. Now, if it aspected negatively, then this will give you an indication of how Saturn won't favor you in a way, or your challenges. Because I always say, or I always believe, that no signs or no aspects or no placements are good, or necessarily good or bad. It's just on how you use them. It's going to point to you strengths and weaknesses in your chart. But just because there's a weakness doesn't mean that those can't be strengthened, or doesn't mean that those can be used to your ability. It's just up to how you use it, should I say. So with Saturn, if Saturn is influencing you positively, then you will be more responsible, more dependable, more time oriented, which means you won't be a procrastinator, shall I say, or you will be, on top of things. You will be more goal oriented, or more getting things done, shall I say, just overall. You will be more inclined to handling your business, if that makes sense. And if it's aspected negatively, then you can be more fearful. You can be more on the depressed side of things. You can be more worried, like whether it's worried about if things are going to go right for you, or if or if you're going to see karma for, for doing something that you shouldn't have done, or just overthinking, should I say, over analyzing things. So this is some of the things how Saturn will influence you positively and influence you negatively. It just depends, like I said, depends on how it's placed in your chart. Also, Saturn brings on or influences lessons. So this is an indication of how you receive lessons in your life, or do you receive things as a lesson? Some people don't look at things as a lesson. Like, I always believe that everything is a lesson. Sometimes people can't see that. Sometimes people see things as a burden or something that they regret. So this can be an indication of if your Saturn is placed negatively or ill placed. Do you see things as negativity? Do you see things on the negative side of things, or do you see things on the more positive side of things? It did something that you maybe wasn't proud of necessarily. Do you regret it, or is it something that you feel like you learned from? You know what I mean? So these are things that Saturn influences. Also, a negative place Saturn can show signs of someone who's a loner, because, as I said, Saturn, a negative side of Saturn, brings loneliness, or it influences loneliness. So this can show signs of someone who's a loner, or somebody who's always feels like they're alone. Because just because somebody's a loner doesn't necessarily mean that they are lonely, I guess, if that makes sense. So somebody who just, who's always feeling down, who's not upbeat, or shall I say, if you will, or someone who doesn't want to work hard. These are just negative things to look for ill-placed Saturn. For, as I said, a positive place Saturn would be the exact opposite of those things. And you could also have it could also be an in between of a little bit of both. It just all depends on different people's whole charts, if you will, or how their chart is set up. Now, Saturn stays within each sign for a total of 2.5 years. Your Saturn returns every 30 years. So when you're roughly around the age of between 29 to 30, or some even say 32, then this will amplify your Saturn. Like when your Saturn returns, this pretty much brings on you feeling more responsible, or you looking back on life and feeling like you need to change things in a certain way, whether one way or another, because Saturn is the planet of responsibility and dependability and restriction and things like that. So when the Saturn returns, it will end lessons. So it will bring forth all of those things that took place within those last 30 years to a forefront. And this is determining your, I don't want to say sink or swim, like if you sink, like it's over with for you, but this is pretty much like a metamorphosis state in your life when your Saturn returns, because it's bringing on those lessons. It's that it's time, so it's bringing all of these things to the forefront, as I was saying. So when that Saturn returns, it's elevating you, or it's sinking you, depleting you in a way. It's just based off of how your Saturn is influenced, or how your Saturn is placed within your chart. Now, the Greek god of Saturn or the Greek god, which is the Greek god that represents Saturn, I'm sorry, is Kronos, which is the god of time, evil, harvest, justice, and fate. Horus is the Egyptian god associated with Saturn, and of course Horus, or if you didn't know, Horus is the god of the sky. So that's it for this video on Saturn and astrology. As always, I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, press the like button, press the subscribe button. If you want to stay in tune for future videos, click the description box. If you want to follow me on my social medias, click the comments section and write it down below. Write something down below to let me know how you all feel. And always, thank you for your time. And until next time, peace and love, y'all.